Jesus Christ. There we go. Wow, there's a walrus. Was that a seal? I think I ever heard that before. Welcome, my friends, to the Gaming Galleon. My name is Captain Raz. And for the next 60 or so minutes, we're going to be celebrating travel, video games, and booty. And, I'm a little, honestly, I've been a complete jerk pretty much all day. I had a bad week. Bad 2 weeks. I broke my foot. You guys want to see what it looks like? Well, I'm not going to show you the boot that I have on me. It's a big black plastic piece of crap. And, I live in Indianapolis. And my backyard's a complete swamp. So basically all I do is I track all of the mud from the backyard into the house. And from there, I go to bed. Because I'm supposed to wear it even when I'm sleeping. I have this restless leg thing I told the doctor about. So she says, well, you better keep the food on when you're sleeping. So there is a big, disgusting, muddy spot on my bed that I sleep in like a pig every night, and I have for the past week. I'm not going to show you the boot, but I'll show you the fracture. You want to see that? Here's an x-ray. I don't know if I have any sensitive... let me bend this part back. There we go. This is apparently the fifth metatarsal fracture, which apparently is a very important bone, from what I've been told. So there's my foot, and you see the little arrow there? So it's the pinky connected to the foot. The bone that connects the pinky to the foot. And let me tell you, it's I put weight on that side of my foot. It's horrendous. It hurts. And they tell me that I have to have this boot on. They tell me that in a month it comes off, and if I'm still hurting or it hasn't healed right, I have to have surgery. That's terrifying. What's the alternative? I get a peg leg. And I walk around like a stereotypical pirate we all want to see me be. I'm not even on it today. I'm sitting here coming to you from a very, very far location. Very, very far from home. Very, very far from Indianapolis. And I've decided it's probably best to keep my weight off of my foot as much as I can. Crutches? Let me tell you something. What a racket. What a racket crutches are. How are you supposed to keep your weight off your feet with crutches? I'm a 40-year-old guy around 300 pounds. It is ridiculous to try and keep my weight on my armpits. Just walking across the parking lot. It's a nightmare. Anyway, I apologize if my spirit's a little down. That doesn't mean we're not going to have fun today. But I sure don't want to come on here and do handsprings and be, a wiggle or a Teletubby and not tell you how it really is. I'm a little pissed off. I've been a little pissed off all day. I've been short with everybody on the ship. I've been short. You know why? You want to know what bothers me more than anything is when you get some guy who feels the need, who sees you on crutches and then feels the need to become like your X-Wing pilot. Like your wingman. He starts slowing down a little bit so he can, kind of walk with you, keep your pace up. He goes really fast to get to the door like any other normal person who's not on crutches. Waits for you to turn the corner, and then like a white knight, he's holding the door. Get out of here! I don't want anything to do with you! But of course, you got to thank him. Thank you so much for helping me, Mr. Invalid. Let me turn your Boy Scout badge over. You've done your good deed for the day. And so naturally, everyone on the ship's doing the same thing. Naturally, people are calling. Naturally, people are, sending their support. And all I want to do is give them a big middle hook on the hand, if you know what I mean. I just want to be left alone. And the worst part is it going to heal right? Is all this for naught? I don't know. So there it is. I'm gonna try my best to stay on task here, but it's a big deal. I think it would be silly if I didn't tell you what happened, right? If I just sat down here and I just felt like sitting down, didn't tell you why I'm not standing. We've got an adventure. We're out in Taiwan. I'll get to that soon. We've got the chest. We've got a question in the queue by a very loyal viewer, our good friend Beth Ann. I can't wait to read it. I have not read it yet. So we do have a voyage here for you. When did we start? 8 minutes ago? All right, we'll get started here in a second. Let me talk to you about this very strange ethical question that's in the heads of, I don't know, at least me as a retro gamer these days. There was a time on eBay where you'd never see any reproduction carts. Then there was a time about a year or two ago where you'd see reproduction carts, but they were very expensive. Now we are to the point where you're finding reproduction carts for very reasonable prices. Now, I've only bought a handful of reproductions in my day, and generally I bought them under the guise of they're carts you just can't get. Like this one here, Sweet Home. This is a game for the Nintendo. It's basically considered to be the godfather of horror games. And it was not made here in America. So I got a copy off of eBay that was made by, translated to English, made for, to be played on a Nintendo. And I spent like $40 on that. That's a lot of money. But I felt like it was a unique title, a historical title, and a title I'd really want to play. So I justified the price. But if you look on eBay these days, you're going to find a number of titles that are very expensive to get an authentic copy of, but very reasonably priced to get a reproduction. And that's what we're playing today. We're going to be playing a reproduction that I actually caved and bought because it's a game I've wanted that long. As for why we're in Taiwan, Taipei, Taiwan, more specifically, the capital of Taiwan. When I grew up, everything that was cheap was made in Taiwan. I don't know about you. Everything I got out of a gumball machine was made in Taiwan. Everything that you get for holidays, like a birthday, anything out of a birthday goodie bag when you went to a friend's place, you get like a rubber ball, a deck of cards that said on the back, made in Taiwan. So, and I figured we'd just go to the heart of the beast and see what Taipei itself is all about. Now, we could have gone to a number of different Chinese locations to accomplish what we're doing here today, which is basically celebrating piracy. I don't know if celebrating is the right word, but we're certainly not ignoring it. Counterfeiting. Putting the wool over someone's eyes. Copying. Where does that even come from? I actually researched this a little bit. I'm going a little over in time, but I'm going to go for it. Why are the Chinese so... maybe I should talk about it when we play Ninja Warriors. Fuck, screw it. Why are the Chinese always so okay with all this copying? Why is every time you hear about copying, you hear about it out of China? Well, apparently in China, that's not a big deal. Apparently in China, the upbringing for Confucius, like Confucius, the old mentor. I don't know what he was, philosopher. His main philosophy was, don't go off on your own. Copy, find what the master does and copy it. So that's that's ingrained in the Chinese culture. Who's doing what the best and copy it. And that goes for everything from video games to, video games to movies to, even cars, like straight up cars they're remaking. Restaurants, they have, you'll see a Burger King with a Burger King sign on it, walk in. The restaurant has no electricity and all they're serving is rice. And they don't care. They don't even know what a burger is. But they're using the master's branding. They're trying to copy the master. Isn't that fascinating? So here in the States, we're all about, being a special snowflake and intellectual properties. And I came up with this, so this is my own and no one else's. It's totally the opposite in China. We find what's the best and we make it for the rest of our lives. That's the plan. And Ninja Warriors is no exception. This is one of the greatest SNES games ever made. Hands down. It's a game I have wanted for years. And I believe I played it when it came out via rental. And really liked it. Years pass. I see some video on YouTube about it. Celebrating it. Reminding me of it. I go to a local store. This was 10 years ago, easily. More than 10 years ago. 15 years ago. They don't have it. As the years go on, the price of Ninja Warriors to buy it online goes up and up. I remember looking at it for $40 and scoffing. And now, these days, it goes for somewhere around $125. So what's a pirate to do? Well, when I saw it on eBay for $13, I decided to take the chance and get it. It is a perfect port. It plays perfectly. The cart looks perfect. The label itself, I'm going to say looks a little dark, but I really haven't seen an authentic Ninja Warriors cart in person in over a decade, so I could be wrong. The game plays not only in a Super Nintendo perfectly, but also on the Navigator's Retron 5. So that's the question I present to you. If it is a good game and you really want it, is it okay to support all of this myriad of Chinese shillers that are on eBay right now, selling really high-end games for dirt cheap prices? Personally, there's probably around 3 or 4 other games I'm probably going to buy from the same vendor. I'm not sure if this is the beginning of the end or what, but there we have it. In any case, let's get to Ninja Warriors. We'll play, and then we'll hit the chest. This is an amazing game. This is made by Natsume. I can't wait to share it with you. Oh, guys, the harp. The harp is here. There's the backup bell of transition. Let's do it. Alright, there's some gameplay for you. There is story. I've never even read it. Who knows? Get you some audio here, too. I don't know how hot this audio is going to be. Oh, man. Put that there. Okay, here we go. Ninja Warriors. It says it's made by Taito. It's actually made by Natsume, my favorite 16-bit developers. You got 3 characters here to choose from. You got Big Bulky. You got Really Speedy. You got All-Arounder. It's rare for me to pick the All-Arounder, but here we are. We're gonna go for it. I don't know why I've just taken a real liking to her, but all the nice thing about this game is they're not carbon copies. Each guy plays quite differently, has a very different move set from one another. Now this is a brawler, but the interesting thing about this brawler is, unlike most of them that you think about on the SNES, this one has only one plane. So there's no walking up, there's no walking down. This is more akin to, say, Kung Fu for the Nintendo than Final Fight for the SNES. Now, how did that little girl pick up a motorcycle? Well, she's not exactly a little girl. The Ninja Warriors are androids. More specific, she's kind of an android. She can actually, I'm getting dorky here, but the definition of an android is a robot that has the appearance of a humanoid. Whereas a robot is, you can tell right away, a robot is made of metal and plastic and glass. Ugh. But yeah, you're talking robot ninjas here. Or ninja robots, however you want to say it. Ooh, almost had me. And it really is kind of the evolution of the classic Kung Fu formula, because she has a number of different moves at her disposal, but not too many buttons. You're gonna see her doing all kinds of stuff, but this is all derived. Oh, come on, Riz. Getting sloppy because there's electricity here, energy here. Wow, I suck. Thanks, dude. Thanks for that. Unbelievable. Yeah, while she's doing a bunch of moves here, I only have 2 buttons. There's attack, and then there's incoming. Oh, come on. And then there's jump. And you can, depending on what direction you're pressing, will kind of determine the move you're doing. And in classic Galleon, in classic Galleon form, I could not be doing worse. Every time I do this stupid show. Every time my performance goes completely down the tubes. It doesn't matter how many times I've played the game. Wow, I was watching the episode where I played Super Castlevania this week. What an embarrassment. This is beginning to be no exception. Guy, I swear, if I die in the first level, oh my god. Oh! You see that meter down there? That's a big deal. The meter is basically a reset. It'll cause damage, but the important thing is it'll drop everyone in the room. So it's kind of like a reset. And the way to power it up is by not getting floored. You can get hit, but if you land on your back, the meter, you see how it's building up right now, the meter there? It's because I'm not being hit, I'm not falling on the floor. If I fall on my feet, fall to my feet though, fall on my back, the meter resets. And that meter can be a big help when you're surrounded. You know, give you just a breath. Just long enough to reassess. A lot of pretty cool monster variety in this game. But, you know, again, we reached with the ethical question. Okay, this is a quality game. How many people are going to want to spend $125 on it? Even just to get, you know, an authentic copy. It's not like it's helping the original developer, is it? Natsume's not getting a piece of that. Who it is helping, though, to get an authentic copy, I mean, really, it's no one. Yourself. That's about it. And I'm not sure spending $125 on anything is helping you. So, you know, who is it hurting? I don't know. To buy, you know, a repro cart? Is there, like, you know, a lasting, you know, long-term effect on this? I don't know. This is really the first time I've ever gone on eBay this month. This is really the first time I went on eBay. And I saw carts of really, really good Super Nintendo games for, you know, the price of you know, a meal at, like, KFC or something, or like Boston Market or something. Like a high-end fast food joint. It was crazy. What is it? My buddy Anubis, he bought, you know, because they were trying to get away with it for a while. My buddy Anubis, he got suckered in. He bought My Little Pony RPG for the Super Nintendo, which is, I think it's called Equestria Bound, which is basically a remake of Earthbound, only with My Little Ponies. He's a brony, so whatever. But they were asking $50 for this card. That's too much for, like, a fan-made game of a repro game. That's playing on people's. That's preying on people's. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? This guy's great. I used to have a really hard time with these robots until I realized he's so slow I can just throw him. Yeah, $50 for one of these cards. That's really preying on people's desire to want something and want it right then. That being said, I still haven't seen Equestria Bound for $13. As for the cards that I'm going to get, I'm going to make sure that any cards that I get are going to be cards I'll never find for a reasonable price. So basically shooters, a couple of action games like that, like Ninja Warriors. But not games that have memory backups. I still don't know that I'm gonna trust these Chinese companies, these knockoff companies, to make a cart for me that is gonna endure, you know, like 40, 50 hours of gameplay. The last thing you want to do is put, you know, 40 hours into an RPG on a shoddy cart and not have any way to back that up. Now, there isn't the nice thing about the Retron 5 is, you know, I could get one of those RPGs and just save it all on the Retron, but I'm not on the ship enough. The Retron's on the ship here with the Navigator. I want to be at home. I want to be able to sit back and enjoy these RPGs from the comfort of my own home. So that's not what I'm concentrating on right now. Right now, I don't want to ask too much from these, you know, these pirates So I'm gonna pick a game like Ninja Warriors where there is no progress saves. You're always starting from the beginning. Check this out. I always love this area. It's got the propellers here, and you'll notice the environmental hazards here also affect the soldiers, which is pretty cool. How are we doing on time? When did we start? Did we start at 6:08? I don't remember. I think it was like 6:03. I don't know. We're gonna play this level out here. How's that sound? And I still haven't figured out all her moves. She has some sort of oh, didn't she have like a cool like I'm gonna beat this guy before I oh not. I have to pick it up. Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. The headless robot got me. Check this out. This is a great boss. This is good. This is a great place to end on. Here we go. Chainsaw, baby. Eat your heart out, Resident Evil 4. And I love that he's like in this big biosuit. Like he's got this butcher's apron on. Oh, man, I'm nailing it. Woo! That's a good place to stop. Not bad, huh? Kill the audio on that. All right, who's ready for some booty, huh? Oh God! I really need to invest in a good chair for the ship. This is like the ricketiest, cheapest chair. I should go out into the market. You should see this. You should see the kind of stuff they're selling out there in Taipei, Taiwan. Did I show you where Taiwan is? Because I had no idea. This is where we're at this week. So there's China, right? Oh boy. See if we can make this not totally blown out. And so you got Japan up here. This is North Korea, South Korea. And then all the way down here, this little island outside of Japan, outside of China. That's Taiwan. It looks like a pickle. And Taipei, the capital where we're at, I brought us here because this is like a big market area, and at night it's just nothing but market. Oh my God, it's so blown out, guys. I'm sorry. There we go. That black spot there, that's Taipei. It's kind of like LA. There's all kinds of little districts, but it's all called Taipei. But then there's like the city proper. They're selling everything out there. They're selling it. I saw every single kind of game you can think of out there. Every movie you can think of out there. I saw The Last Jedi for sale. Then it gets even crazier. I saw cars. I saw car. There was like a Land Rover, but it had no labels on it. It was like a white Land Rover, but it had no labels on it, and they called it something like the Land Strider or something. And for extra, I swear to God, I saw this happen. The guy bought a car. Then he was given the option of in the car dealership, there's like a wall of all the different brands of cars that you know of. So you could get like a Toyota sticker and get it slapped onto the car, and then you're out of there. That's the kind of stuff that's happening in China, man. They just don't care. It's crazy to me. It's a really crazy place. I'm probably going to eat. I might get another cart. If I see Metal Warriors for cheap, I'll pick it up here. But we'll see. Anyway, let's get to the booty. All right. This is a light one. Dude, this whole foot thing, man. I'm really worried about booty for the next month. I gotta have this thing out for at least the next 3 weeks. And I have not been hitting the stores. I hit one store today and nothing. I just have not been looking around because I can't get on. I'm supposed to stay off this foot as much as possible. Broke my foot, had to stay off it as much as possible so that I'm not a cripple the rest of my life. So, meanwhile, the booty is breathing down my neck. Now, I had a couple of lots lined up before this whole tragedy happened. This is a little light, but it's a good deal for sure. And then I also have a little gem that kind of came off some stuff that we picked up previously. So let me show you this. What? The doctor's calling me now? Should we take it? I think this is the doctor. Yeah, it's how you. They want me to do it. They want me to do a survey on my service. I'll let you know if I can walk on my foot in a month, lady. What are the odds that would happen now? All right, so this is a pretty nice deal. It's a stack of PlayStation 2 games. I'm pretty sure 95% of these games we have, but they're all good games, and we got them for the bottom basement bare price of $25 each. Anytime you can pick up PS2 games for $25, that's a good day. So let's check it out, shall we? What do we got? All right. First one here is one we just didn't have. There's 10 million racing games out there for the PS2. This is no exception. You got Corvette, Evolution GT. I don't think I've ever seen this one before. This is a game I'd pass on 10 million times unless it's a quarter, but this one I've never even seen. And that's what's fascinating about PS2 is you can, be a crazy collector like me for years and years and still come across games you've never even noticed before. An excellent game, the first in the series, at least if we're talking what's the word I'm looking for? Remakes. Prince of Persia, Sand of Time. This is basically a reboot of a 16-bit. I think this was on the Tandy, even the original. But this was their first foray, Ubisoft's first foray into 3D with this game. Obviously, they made a number of others. I believe they're still making them. I think they've retired this for Assassin's Creed. But they made about 5-6 of these, maybe. And this is the only one I've really sat down and played all the way through. All the other Prince of Persias I've kind of passed on, but this one's really good. So for $25, we picked that up. No manual. Okay. What do we got next? Oh. For $25, we pick up Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. My God. This was like this was a game that I picked up on a whim for the GameCube back when I was living with a couple roommates. We picked this one up, and it was like the beginning of a new era. When we played this game, we realized there was a genre out there called the multiplayer action RPG. And it had finally come to console, and man, was it done right. This is a phenomenal game, even today. If you have a friend and a PS2 or GameCube or an Xbox, I urge you, take a weekend and play this one together. Incredible experience. Might be my favorite D&D game ever made. Could be, as long as I'm playing with a friend. I just think I think it really masked the brutality, the challenge of D&D quite well. Amazing game, amazing. I think this is the only PS3 game we had in the stack. She just gave it to me for $0.25 just because she basically just counted up the stack. So we got this. This is a PS3 game for $0.25, full auto. Battle Lines by Sega. You've got a car running through town with a machine gun mounted on the front. Oh boy, that looks awesome. Up to 8-person player multiplayer online. I don't know if that's still happening. This looks like this is a combination between Twisted Metal and Burnout. If I were to guess, looks pretty badass. I've seen this one around, but I always felt like, even GameStop here was selling it for $4. So I was waiting for that right price, 25 cents. That's the right price. All right, what do we got here? Battlefront. A really nasty copy of Battlefront for the PlayStation 2. Those aren't stars. Those are watermarks. What a mess. Inside, though, looks like it's in great shape. And this one's still kind of fun to play one player. I don't know how good it would be split screen. Maybe split screen co-op. There was that Galactic Conquest, though. I'd love to Galactic Conquest with somebody sometime. Awesome box art, but I have a feeling this is a terrible game. Ghost Rider by 2K. All new story from the comic masterminds Garth Ennis and Jimmy Palmatier. I guess they're famous. I don't really know a bunch about comics. Unlock secret characters. That's kind of cool. I wonder who else you'd play this. Who's a friend of Ghost Rider? Does he have friends? I don't know anything about Ghost Rider. But for $0.25, how are you going to pass that up? Hot Shots Golf 3. I never really played this one. I'm sure it's excellent because I played the hell out of 2. I think they released Hot Shots 2 on like a PlayStation Underground demo back in the PS1 days, and everyone was playing it. This was Hot Shots Golf 2, man. That was a really popular game. Great. So this series is pretty hot. $0.25 all day. A few more here. What's this? Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. Very common game. It was just very hard to pass up anything that was RPG-ish for $0.25. You know what I'm saying? Is this one 2-player? I know one player. It was a big hack and slash game by EA. It's okay. I think Return of the King is better. I don't want to downplay this though. I think it's well made. What's this? I don't know why I see this one everywhere. Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII, with Vincent the Vampire from Final Fantasy VII, and his own third-person shooter, I believe. Never played it. I got a friend who's all about it. I see this game all the time. We got this for $0.25. And then finally, a game we didn't have, and a game I never knew existed, LA Rush by Midway. So that would lead me to believe this is a sequel of sorts to San Francisco Rush, which is pretty hot. I remember San Francisco Rush from the N64 days. I didn't know that this series had continued on into the PlayStation 2 era. So that's not bad. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So the whole stack here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 PlayStation 2 games, one PlayStation 3 game. We got them for 25 cents each. So that rounds us out to around $2.50. You want to add a little tax onto that? Maybe around $2.90. That's a lot of gaming. That's a lot of good gaming for $3. What do you think? Pretty good, huh? All right. Now I want to follow up on something. A few weeks back, I usually don't like to refer to other shows or other voyages, because I like these voyages to be self-contained. I want you guys to be able to watch them in any order if you feel like watching a rerun. But recently, we happened upon a whole bunch of PS3 games for $1 each. A whole bunch of them. And I had basically said the majority of these we have, but they were selling them for $1 each. So I know a store in town that's doing trade-ins. If you trade in a game, they're going to give you not only the trade-in credit, but an additional 50% off on the whole total. So I was like, dude, if we amass like a whole bunch of these PlayStation 3 games for $1 each, we're totally going to get more stuff, like a lot of credit, which we did. We got around, I don't know what the totals are, and I won't bore you with that, but I will say that we got about 6, mid-level to good Super Nintendo games for that lot, and we had about $20 left over. Now I'm not going to show you the Super Nintendo games, but I'm going to show you what I got with the remaining $20. I went in there like a week after I had gotten all the Super Nintendo games, and I said, "You got anything in the back there?" And she brings me a stack of Saturn imports. And then a couple of PlayStation 1 games that I'd seen before. I'd seen all this stuff before, in fact, even the imports. But there was one game there that wasn't there before, at least as far as I know. And this is why it always behooves you, even if a clerk's like, "Oh, you've looked at that stack." Don't listen to that guy. That guy doesn't know crap. All right? You know what you know. You know what you looked at. So once they showed it to me, I realized I had the $20 credit. Actually, I would have spent $20 on this all day. I would have spent cash, but we were lucky enough to have the credit, so we didn't really spend anything on this. It is a beautiful copy of Strider 2 for the original PlayStation. And I just want to point out what an excellent shot of Strider that is. This is post Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Strider, to be sure. I mean, what a brilliant shot of him. This is not an easy game to come by. I'm not sure that it's a phenomenal game. I remember having some complaints when it was reviewed. But I still really wanted it. And the nice thing about it is not only are you getting Strider 2, this is actually a 2-disc set. So right there you're seeing not Strider 2, but the original Strider that you may remember in the arcades, or probably most of you remember from the Sega Genesis. So that version. That's on the first disc. And then the second disc, look at that, it folds out there. Look at that. Very rarely do I see a PlayStation 1 game do that. Fold out like that. And you got Strider 2 there. Some more beautiful art there. I wasn't really sure the price on this game. I know it's hard to find. So $20 I thought was a reasonable price. It's a crazy reasonable price. When I got this home and looked it up, this game's floating around the $90-$100 range. I don't know why these guys were selling it so low, because they will sell by condition a lot of times, but I don't think they were. I think that it's one of these typical stores that they just, if it's Mario and if it's Nintendo, we're gonna check because we know Nintendo's expensive, but we don't care about PlayStation 1. Who gives a crap? It's that kind of level of mentality. So, wow, what a deal that was to find for $20, and we're spending credit on it. That was like perfect. And I haven't tried it yet. Maybe we'll stream it sometime. Okay, let's get back to Ninja Warriors. I don't know how much time we have left. I'm going to say about 15 minutes. So let's spend 10 more minutes. We'll play like one more level of Ninja Warriors. Let's see if I can... where's my little... This is my sub in. The harp is over there. I'm sorry. There's the bell of transition. Let's get back to it. All right, here we go. Okay, Ninja Warriors, baby. Again, not an authentic copy. Are you a fan of Ninja Warriors? Do you know your way back to front on it? Tell me if you've seen any. If you're seeing any frame drops, because I'm sure there's a lot of big, hardcore Ninja Warrior fans in here. This is not emulation, though. I want to make that clear. I'm not. You know, on a ROM site or something. I don't even know how to do that stuff, guys. I'm an idiot. This is why I collect games, because I'm too dumb to use ROMs. All right. Every time I try to do ROMs, I end up formatting the computer or something. It's ridiculous. Or I like sign myself up for like 10 antivirus alerts. I've given up. I gave up years ago on doing ROMs. But you know, if you put a great game on eBay for $13 that I really want, I think you've got me. And that's what happened here. Those crazy Chinese, man. They got no scruples. They don't care. And how fascinating it is to think that, you know, if I said to them, hey, yeah, I made this Twitch channel from scratch. It's kind of unique. It's kind of different. Not a lot of streamers do it that way. Every guy in China would be rolling their eyes like, well, why are you wasting your time doing it then? They would be like, haven't you seen that guy who's going into restaurants and stealing food live? Why aren't you doing that? He's getting 10 million views. How about that guy with the mullet? Mullets are big in him. Oh, jeez. This sucks, dude. Okay, have a seat. These wrestling guys are pretty rough. Oh, I forgot I could block. I forgot about that. Oh my god. Dude, this sucks. There's no... These claw guys are the worst for her, but I'm sure, like, the big guy who's like 1,500 pounds, he'd have no problem with them. Alright, here we go. Come here, you. I like that guy, the kind of balding guy with the gun. This guy here. He's kind of got like the gun holster. He just reminds me of, like, you know, your typical like undercover detective. Man, we just have a few questions for you, and then you knife him in the face. I mean, you got to commend for a brawler, though. You know, we've got some serious. Oh, that was close. Got some serious variety, and every level, I think they introduce at least. Oh, did my meter go down? No, Raz, you're an idiot. Every level they introduce a new couple of guys at you, while bringing in everybody else. There's a real mix. Constantly switching strategies, especially because you're on that one plane. It's very tight, And, you know, most people be like, okay, cool game, but bro, this is... You're showing us a 16-bit brawler that's one player? Garbage? I would say absolutely not. I mean, come on! I'm so mad at that guy! I can't imagine playing this 2-player. I think it would be a mess. There's just not enough room. Alright there, G.I. Joe. Get out of here. Alright. Whenever you see multiple screens, they're never going to spend this kind of this is where a boss is going to hang out. Because he's going to realize, you know, this is a very expensive setup here. I deserve this kind of area to fight in. Dude. I know what you're doing. You're throwing grenades. Come on, get that meter up. You see that meter coming up? No. And I just dropped it. And I lost it. And I exploded! Unlimited continues. I'll tell you what. Let's play one more time against that guy, just so you guys can see like the other guys. All right, hold on a second. There we go. Oh, why am I all the way here? I thought I was be at the boss. Oh, this sucks. This guy's got nunchucks. My lady, she was jumping all over the place. This guy is so heavy. Here's his jump. He's got a jetpack. All right, we're gonna leave it. Okay, we're back. For those of you who may not know that it's live, I want you to look at whether or not this is live right now. It's very easy to know whether or not. I want you to look at your watch and say, is it 6 p.m. Eastern right now on a Thursday? It's not? Huh, he must not be live. If it is, though, we're live. Every week. Very rarely are we not. But that's the only time we're live. Okay, just so you know. That's the only time. There are some times back in Indianapolis where I stream from my game room, and that's when I will respond to you and talk back and forth. And those of you who have met me through the game room may know that. And so when you find me on the pirate ship and I'm not talking to you, you may be a little frustrated. That's because this is not a stream. This is a production. This is a show from the pirate ship. It's taken lots of man hours to get us out to Taipei, Taiwan this week. And so rather than field everyone's questions in the hour, we go on an adventure. But don't worry. There's always a post show, if you happen to show up for the live event, where we field questions as well. Okay? All right. Speaking of questions, at the end of every voyage, I always like to dig into the old mailbag, give you guys a moment to throw a question out to me. All right? Let's check it now. The mailbag is way back there. You guys are going to have to, forgive me if you came in late on this one. I broke my foot recently. Here's the metatarsal, 5th metatarsal, whatever. Broke my foot, so I'm not moving around. But what I can do for you is get you a question that I have right here. Let me read it for you. Okay. Where did I put it? Here it is. So this comes from Beth Ann 1. And she asks, how often do you come across the original Final Fantasy NES and SNES titles when you shop or when, in your travels? Ooh, not often. It depends on where you're talking. If you're talking, like a pawn shop or a garage sale, never. I can't remember the last time I saw an SNES, like a Final Fantasy cart. I don't think I ever have in the wild. The carts I have, Final Fantasy and Fantasy Star, Final Fantasy 2 and 3 I have, man. I think I've had them. I think the Final Fantasy I got off of a guy in college. I was living with him and he had a lot of Nintendo games, including Final Fantasy. So I have his old lot. That was a long time ago. As for Final Fantasy 2 and 3, I'm relatively sure I bought those. I'm relatively sure those are mine from when I was a kid. If they weren't, they might have been from about 20 years ago where I was hitting this pawn shop in Southern Illinois. I remember getting a lot of choice stuff there. I got Kirby Superstar there for like $10. I got Chrono Trigger there for around $8. I think they were kind of flat rate and everything. It's somewhere between $8 and $12. So at the time, that was when I was grabbing them, and I was willing to spend that because it wasn't like I could get them online. Online didn't exist. These days, you'll see a Final Fantasy 3 now and then. You'll see a Final Fantasy 2 now and then. Original Final Fantasy, even in retro stores, I don't see it. Not really. Most people, most of the time it's going to get snatched up. So, yeah, it's crazy, man. If you have one, if you see one in the wild, even for a retail price, it might be worth grabbing just to say that you got it in the wild and not online. Those are that hard to find. The PlayStation 1 ones, though, like Final Fantasy Origins, all those remakes that they made, I see those all day. Those are Final Fantasy Tactics. Those are in like every retro store. So, yeah, if you have them, hold on to them. And don't pay too much for them either. I have a buddy of mine who bought Final Fantasy for the Nintendo even before the retro boom, years before the retro boom. He bought it for $40. That's way too much for the original Final Fantasy. You shouldn't be paying any more than $20, maybe $25. And that's just off the top of my head. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we're going to leave it there. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming by. Whether this be your first time here on an actual Voyage of the Gaming Galleon or your 50th time here. Each and every one of you, make this what it is. If it were just me, it'd be a pretty sad state of affairs because, while there are a bunch of pirates sitting out on deck there, running around Taipei, picking up cheap Chinese schlock, they don't care about video games. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that in your lives. You love video games, but how many people around you at work or maybe in your family, care the way you do? It's the same on the ship. 95% of these times, guys don't care about video games at all. They care about being pirates. They care about the traveling that we do on the Galleon. I just happen to be a game collector and the captain. So I come in here every week into the captain's quarters, let them do their thing, and I do my thing. Once I'm ready to wrap up, we usually get dinner. I don't know what's big in Taiwan. I'm hoping Taiwanese food is like Thai food, because I'm probably going to grab some pad Thai if that's the case, which would be awesome. And then we got to make our way back to Indianapolis. We're going to get the ship back so that I can be at work in the morning. I think I have to be at work before everyone else on the ship. Most of the guys are like 9-to-5ers, or they're nothing at all. They just hang out on the ship, run the ship, maybe run it, like do a tour now and then to get some extra scratch. And as long as they're here, I'm watching the ship. That's good for me, so I don't care. I don't really take a cut at any of that. Just as long as they got the ship ready every week so we can get out there for you guys. Anyway, once again, I want to thank you guys. We'll see you soon. Next week, I'm not sure where. I'm not sure when. But I know one thing. Wherever we end up, we're going to go there together. So until next time, me buckos. Farewell and adieu to ye Spanish maidens. Farewell and adieu, ye ladies of Spain. For we received orders for to head out to Taiwan. And we may never see ye fair ladies again. Keep your powder dry, mateys. If you think I'm getting up, you're out of your mind. All right, we'll leave it there.